What's up, everybody? Back here with the last episode for the year 2019 of Motivate with EY. And I have a very esteemed, distinguished guest with me today. Just so happens to be my son, Cameron Gibson.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? How's everything going? We were out here visiting for kind of the end of the holiday season. And you're back in San Diego with your ship.
Yep.
And you're out for deployment for, was it 7 months?
About 7 months, yeah.
7 months, man. That shit was crazy, huh?
All kinds of stuff. Man.
whole different world than when you were used to before that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think was like the biggest shock? Like whether it's just going into the Navy in general or going to deployment, with a different thing as far as training goes. What was like the biggest difference where you're like, holy shit, this is for real?
I guess like the biggest shock or something like that would be just like when you're out there, you really don't, you kind of lose a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you lose family, you get torn apart of everything that you know. I mean, boot camp and all that stuff was hard and it was difficult, but it's kind of like a training process. So you don't really, you just think of it as like, when I get through this, it's gonna be all right. I'm gonna figure it out.
Right.
And but when you go on deployment, it's like a whole different world, and it's cool because you get to travel, you get to see a bunch of things, but it's still just is weird. It's very weird.
Is it almost like you don't, like you said, like with the training and boot camp, you're like, okay, when this is over, I go back and I see these people I love. But when you go on deployment, is there always kind of this thing in the back of your head where you're like, we may not come back?
Yeah, it's always kind of in the back of your head, because tragedies happen all the time,
Sure.
and dumb stuff happens all the time where, ships collide into each other and, U.S. ships collide into each other. So yeah, that's always in the back of your mind. But, the Navy still stays pretty safe, more than other branches of the military. But it was always just like, I don't know, just, you had that thought of like, you're not going to come back, but it was like, it's not that if I die or something tragic is going to happen. It's like, you just may never come back.
Mm-hmm.
The Navy can keep you out there as long as they want.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not, they just say, oh, we're going to stay out here. And you're like, nah, fuck that. Let's go back.
No, I'm going back. I'll swim.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get out there.
I'll get off at the next port.
Yeah.
You gotta take a flight.
Yeah. I mean, it happened when we were in the Middle East for about 3 months, like Captain was just, and I know that he regretted or just did not want to come on the 1MC and be like, all right, guys, we got to stay here for another month. Because we were in the Middle East for about 3.5 months.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, we're balling it up in Dubai and fucking shit like that. No,
Right.
it was 52 days out to sea.
Yeah, it's work.
Just circling and, keeping the Middle East in check.
Making sure no one tries to get all, how to get gangster. You gotta slap them back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and just for people who don't know, 1MC is the...
1MC is kind of like the announcement on the ship. Like,
Okay.
He gets on the little radio and he can talk throughout the whole ship.
And 1MC is what the captain is? Or...
No, I mean, like, everybody can use the 1MC. It's like where
okay.
we get announcements or,
Gotcha.
just kind of everything.
So it's just your intercom.
Yeah, your intercom.
Okay.
And he'll be piped on by somebody, so we know, like, oh shit, like that's the captain about to speak.
Right.
Yeah, but you can like because it'd be later in the day. You know that he's been putting that off because he didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause we like we get real close to be going to Okinawa, Japan, because we stayed in Bahrain and Jordan. Like we were in Bahrain for couple days, about 5 days, then we went to Jordan, and then we were back to Jordan after that.
Yeah.
And just back out 52 days of underway, and you're just like, dude. And they're like, all right, well, we're about to go back into 7th Fleet, which is where like Japan and all that stuff is. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta get out of here.
Like we're heading back to the direction.
It's hot. I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 125 degrees on the ship the whole time. Berthing's hot. You have this little fan in your rack, and you're just like, do this thing. You'd be like right here, right next to it, just trying to get some hot air and stuff.
Some cool air. Yeah. Ooh.
It was rough, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was just a crazy thought process. And then even when we got back, there would always be classes that you can go to talk to before we got home, of like kind of like getting yourself back in the mindset of being home, being kind of like a civilian, and you're just like, I don't even know if that's like gonna help. So you don't really, like, your thought process is just all jacked up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't truly know what that feels like because I've never been through it, but I can only imagine that it's got to be such a big culture shock between, being out there, you know what you're out there for. Because for people who don't know, this is public knowledge. It was in the news and everything. But the USS Boxer, with the ship that you're on, you guys got sent over to Iran when Trump and Iran were having their whole beef thing going on with what's happening, and you guys were right there at the forefront. You guys were the first ship out there, to where you guys even had a drone that came over that you guys had to take out.
Yeah,
yeah, that was cool, man. I mean, your grandpa, my dad, came. He called me up and he said, "Hey, did you hear that Cameron ship shot down the drone?" And I was like, "Nope, I didn't." So I went and started looking on the internet and looking at all the news stories about it, and it was so crazy. The craziest thing too, well, I mean, not the craziest, but what was so strange for me was I couldn't just call you to talk to you about it or text you like, "Hey, what's going on?" That was for me one of the hardest things that, because you and I, our whole life, we're always talking and communicating and stuff. And then even when you went into the military, you had the boot camp where we couldn't talk for a little while, but that seemed to go by pretty quick.
Yeah. It was fine.
But when you're on deployment, I would want to call you or text you something funny or something interesting, and something that I just went through for the day, and I couldn't. I had to wait until you guys went to port.
Yeah.
And you finally would send me a text like, "Hey, we're coming into port, and I'll call you the next day when I come. We actually pull in." And I was like, "Oh, thank God."
That was another tough part about it, though. Is like you miss out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of important people in your life that are going through stuff. Like, my little sister grew up so fast, and I didn't even get to see her. And, my fiance went through a lot of stuff where I didn't, get to be there with her to go through it. And just a lot of stuff that you miss a lot out on.
Yeah. That's such a strange. I think it's so foreign to so many people that are not in the military, and even some people who do go in the military who don't ever get deployed. They even have a kind of, I won't say a limited a version of what you went through, because they still go through a lot themselves. But I think the deployment adds the extra layer of just difficulty, and I'm sure a range of emotions as you're.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing that always goes through your mind is that you may come home and somebody that you love to the most is not going to be there when you get back, and you never would have known about it, because the military also, like, you on deployment, they still try to give you a base of, like, because they get known like emergencies, like, say if your mom passed away or something like that, they still kind of figure that out, and they try to tell you if they can get the information, but it's always like that next time you pick up that phone where you dial the phone, with a little, or you load a card and you get a dial every once in a while.
Yeah.
That was the biggest fears whenever you call somebody and you're like, you kind of have to calm yourself down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you work yourself up and you're like, dude, it better not happen.
Yeah.
It better not happen.
Oh, and your mind, it will play tricks on you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
not only just with that, it's just with everything. Your mind is going to play tricks on you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But, I don't want to harp too much on all the bad stuff, and I know there's a lot. Before we kind of switch directions a little bit, do you? You're saying the Navy they provide you? Is there like a psychologist or somebody that they have on board that you talk to? Like if you ever feel like you're going through a lot and you just need to get some stuff out?
Yeah, we have it's called a DRC. It's a Deployed Resiliency Counselor. So he's a licensed therapist and a bunch of other fields. So if you're going through a rough time or anything, you're depressed, or you just need someone to talk to, anger management or anything you need, he's the guy to go to.
Okay, that's good. A lot of people use that. I'd be willing to bet.
Yeah, a lot of people used him. He was very busy during deployment.
Yeah.
I had to go in there for anger management, and it's just he and Kiefer, he's a really good guy.
Yeah,
he helps out a lot.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you guys kind of, you say use each other, but, there for each other. You guys are all going through the same thing. You know how each other feels. And, if you got a friend of yours who you're around all the time and you know that maybe they have a younger sister, or they have a fiance or a wife waiting at home, you can kind of talk to each other. And
yeah, most of my close friends, within a tight group of like 4 guys, we kind of like, we're going through the same thing. And, that those people, like, you can talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You can just sit down and be like, dude, you don't even got to say anything. Just let me just talk.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you don't have to say anything. You'll be like, it's okay. All you got is just be like, I got your back. And then you're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, just to get it out.
Yeah. Because if you keep something balled up like that, that's where it starts eating at you.
Yeah. I've been guilty of that a big portion of my life.
Yeah.
I had to work on that myself. So, it's a crazy thing. And, and I think for a lot of families, because I know I went through this, not knowing what's going on with you guys, not even, it's been even well known throughout in the military and all branches that sometimes people get hurt in training exercises. People get severely hurt or even pass away, I think. And so for family members, we're all waiting at home and we don't have communication either. And it's not like we can just call up the ship and be like, hey, let me talk to my son. And we kind of go through our own range of emotions. And like I said, you and I are, we're really close and we laugh at a lot of the same stuff. We enjoy a lot of the same things. So, not being able to reach out to you at any time and tell you a story or, hey, this new comic's coming out or, oh, have you seen this movie or whatever. Even just those little things beyond the big stuff of like, I hope he's safe. I hope he's okay. And, trust me, I don't want to get too emotional either. My phone, when my phone would ring, there was some times when I wouldn't look at my phone yet. And I'm like, I don't want to see United States Navy. I don't want to see United States Navy. And even just the thought of that, like I said, I get in my own head and I'm like, what am I going to do if I get this call? And I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. Because normally with all kind of, things in life that could be kind of worst case scenario, I try to wrap my head around it and say, okay, like for instance, if I'm going to lose my job, if I did something and, what happens if I lose my job? Okay, well, if I lose my job, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have all these steps in place, right? Because I want to be prepared. That's not something you can even wrap your head around to prepare for. And it's hard. I mean, so I'm sure there's so many families are going through the same thing. And that's why when your ship did come back and the families were all there and we're all waiting to receive you, first of all, it was one of the most awesome experiences of all time. Yeah. Watching the ship come in and then waiting. But, all of us, we're all looking around. We all have these big smiles and everyone's kind of dressed up. And you can see all the wives dressed up for their husbands coming back. And they have, some of them had kids, little kids. And it was so cool because we're all looking around at each other and we all have this kind of glow because we're like, they did it. They made it back. Yeah. And we're excited not only that you're back, but we're excited that, holy cow, like all those emotions that we were going through, it's kind of like we can kind of exhale for a minute and not have to think about it for a little while. And it's tough. And, I never knew what that was like. You'd always see movies on it and when they come home and they're so happy and they're hugging so hard and you can only think in your head, oh, that'd be crazy. Or, oh yeah, that'd be so emotional. And yeah, but until you're there feeling it, it's there's nothing like it. No. And, that was cool, man. That was a lot of fun watching you guys come in and the ship pull in, even though it takes an hour and a half for the ship to go 15 feet to come in. We're all going, all right, you guys coming?
And dude, nobody doesn't even take that long.
Yeah.
Like when we're just going underway, like just preparing to go on an appointment, we go out and just right back in.
Pull right in.
Then they just want to do
like Tokyo Drift into the port.
It's like, watch how much we can fuck with you, motherfucker.
Yeah, just sit there. We're just going to chill out here for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, dude. Normally we don't even pull into Pier 13. That's the farthest pier.
Yeah.
It's either 2 or 7.
Right.
It's right in there.
Yep. Way at the end. Yeah.
All the way down.
Now, is that just because it's probably going to be there for a while? They got to do maintenance and stuff?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And I just think, and there was no other.
Admirals don't call you up and tell you what's going on?
Nah. Last time I talked to the Admiral of the Navy, he told me to fuck off. So.
Yeah. But, so yeah, I mean, it's, obviously all these emotions and so many, head games that you can kind of play on yourself of what's going on, what's coming up, and even the time frame just messing with you. Cause it's like when you first go out, in your head, it's like, it's going to be forever until we get back.
Yeah.
So even though you kind of are given a date, but like you said, that's a tentative date because if something happens, they can keep you out there as long as they want.
And then we would always, and it's just people on the ship just talking, but we would always hear stuff like, "Hey, did you hear we're gonna get extended 2 months?" And it's just like when you hear that at first, it's not like, "Dude, get out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
I know it's not true. The first thought in your head is you're like, "Dude, like, I don't know if I can do this for another 2 months.
Yeah.
There's no way I can be out here." And you think that, but you can,
Yeah.
and you can get through it, and you know you can. It's just that just shot through the heart of, you gotta do this for another 2 months.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, that's another 60 or 62 days.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be out here anymore, and I don't want to feel how I feel every single time I pick up a phone. I don't want my family to feel every time they see a phone call coming in.
Yeah.
It's just, nah. And then it would always be nice when the captain would get on the motor seat, because it's not every day.
Yeah.
It's always the XO that talks to everybody every day. But when the CO gets on there, it's always, it's either gonna be good or it's not gonna be good.
Right.
There's no in between. There's no in between news. Like, hey, it's Johnny's birthday today.
Yeah. Right.
No, it's always like, hey, we're extended 2 months, or hey, we're pulling in early.
Yeah.
It's really, really good, or it's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's as soon as he comes on, you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
So is there a point, like, along the way where, like you're saying at the beginning, any news, you're like, oh my God, it sucks, or gosh dang, you know what I mean? Where everything seems like so heavy. It's like so much more. But is there a point to where you get to where it's like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I'll roll with it.
Yeah, towards the end, because throughout the whole deployment, it was, we're getting extended 2 months, or we're gonna go out on a barge and go back out, and I'm like, all right. But like the beginning, you're like, dude, no, I can't do that. And then after a while, you're just like, no,
Yeah.
and when we were in the Middle East for 3.5 months, we got extended in the Middle East for like 5 times.
Yeah.
Where we thought we were going to 7th Fleet, but then the captain got on there and he's like, all right, we gotta go back to 5th Fleet and, go back out there. And after the first 3 times, you're just like, dude, like, you got mad and you're just like, this is dumb, like, screw the Navy. And then, last 2 times, you're just kind of like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it just gets easier.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're kind of expecting it.
Right. Yeah.
If
it doesn't happen, you're like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah, you're like, we're in 7th Fleet?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We're like, all right, we're going back in like 12 days anyway.
Yeah.
I already know. If it doesn't happen, you're like, this is weird. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Where's all the bad news?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that's, you and I had talked a little bit about how so much of what you're dealing with in the Navy, from, dealing with, the higher, ranking guys and ladies, all the different personalities, and being in this enclosed space all the time, and where there's no room for, well, what I think, can kind of, everyone can have their own opinion, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even the stuff that we deal with out here in the regular world all the time, where everybody wants their own opinion. You have this like very, not say restrictive, but this very disciplined version of everything that's going on around you. But I think in so many ways, whatever it is that you decide to do after the military, you're going to have such a leg up on so many people. You can't, everything that you're dealing with and going through, you can't teach in any college course, and even just being at a regular job.
Yeah.
It's not the same experience. It's just not. And that's why I think there's a lot of businesses and companies, and they want to deal with, they like hiring people who are military, have had military experience, because they know, these people can get through this hard stuff. Even if they don't think they can at the beginning, you figured it out. Yeah. And so a lot of managers and bosses and business owners, they know that. They know, especially if they are ex-military themselves, they know, like, I know what these people have gone through. I know the kind of discipline it takes. I know the dedication that it takes. And I know the mind, all the things that your brain and your mind go through. And they came out on the other side. And that's the kind of people I want working with me. That's the kind of people I want helping me grow my company, because you have all this to offer. And it's tough, man. I mean, like you said, when you're just like, I just want to get out, I can't do it anymore, and then you do, but it's like almost like you can. Yeah. It's kind of like this, like I would think like a form of venting.
Yeah.
For a little bit to yourself, like, this is bullshit. There's no way. But then you're just like, okay, I got this. I'll figure it out just like everything else.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the one quote right there that just gets you going. Is like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll figure it out.
yeah,
And after a while, you kind of just I don't know really how to explain this part, but your brain almost just gets into the thing of every day when you wake up, you're gonna do the exact same thing that you've done for 6 months already.
yeah,
You're gonna wake up. You're gonna put your coveralls, your boots, your socks, your cover on, all in the same order that you've done for 6 months. Shirt on, socks on, coveralls on, cover on, put your boots on, and then you're gonna go on the head. You're gonna shave. I don't have to shave, but everybody else has to shave. You're gonna shave. You're gonna brush your teeth. After that, you're gonna look in the mirror, and you're just be like, all right, kind of slap yourself around for a second. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You're gonna go up there. You're gonna wait for Musher. Wait for whoever wants to either be nice or just be reasonable or be a dick that day.
yeah,
And then do your job. And when you get off, kind of hang out with your buddies a little bit, maybe, or get in your rack, watch a movie, fall asleep, get up, do the exact same thing the next day.
yeah.
And after a while, if you sit there and think about it, that's where it gets you.
Drive you crazy.
That's where it gets you.
Yeah,
If you just do it and just go and go and go and go, and you're just like, all right. And then that's kind of the best part because you'll be like, oh shit, it's September 2nd.
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's this day.
Yeah.
Like, wow, shit, we only got 3 months left?
Yeah.
It's already been 4 months? You're just like, all right. But if you sit there and really start thinking about it, that's where you're just like, you'll eat yourself alive.
yeah. Ooh, I bet. Well, so I guess it's almost like you kind of go on this autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely go on autopilot because you don't know what day it is.
Right.
You don't know what you did that day. You don't know what's for.
Yeah.
So how we know what day it is on deployment is we know what's for chow.
Oh, really?
So whatever, yeah. If it's
It's not the food schedule.
yeah, it's whatever the food is because it's the same shit throughout the whole week. So
Right.
if it's tacos, you're like, shit, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be Tuesday because I fucking
No?
no. Taco Tuesday is the worst, dude.
Really?
Dude. Oh yeah, everybody's blowing out the toilets, dude.
Oh man.
Rough.
That makes me think of the back of the day being like in grade school, and you see the lunch menu, and it would be like this.
Yeah, that's how we know what day it is. Because
wow.
yeah, because when you go on that autopilot and then you're just like, you kind of snap out of it for a little bit while you're talking to people. When you're doing work, and you're waking up and you're going to sleep or you're doing that, that's all autopilot.
Yeah.
So most of your day is autopilot.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting out at chow or even, some people don't even eat, lunch or whatever. They go take a nap during that time because they didn't sleep well at night.
Yeah.
So, when you're sitting down at chow, you're just like having conversations with people. That's when your autopilot switches off. And then you're like, what am I eating? And then if there's, I don't know, I forgot what all the other chows were, but if it was like pizza and wings, you're like, oh shit, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday?
Right.
Oh, all right.
Right.
And then you go back into autopilot and then it's, Thursday for the next week and you're like, it's weird because it's on and off.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you go off, that's when you like start asking questions.
Right.
Like, what the fuck am I?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a crazy life, and it really hit me when so we got to go after your ship came back the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to go, my parents, my wife, our youngest one, a 10-year-old. We got to go onto your ship,
Yeah.
and you got to show us around, which was super cool for us because we didn't have to live on it.
Yeah.
So, but we got a tour of the ship, and you were showing us all the different areas where you were at different posts and what it was like being out on the water on that post, and the cold air and the craziness and stuff. But it was super cool. But it really did hit me after even just going through the tour, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like everything even started closing in for me. Just in that 15, half an hour that we were on there or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, holy cow, I can't imagine having to deal with this on day in and day out. And I mean, all the stairwells are narrow and super steep. And I mean, to the point, as we're going down the stairs, I'm thinking, oh, I could easily snap my ankle on the stairs if you're not careful. And
no, I know a lot of people that have fallen down ladder wells. They got jacked up.
Oh my gosh, it's just so yeah. I'm just trying to imagine myself having to work and live in this environment. And the part that really got me and maybe even makes me claustrophobic thinking about it is all the bunks. you know, where you guys would sleep. And I mean, there's not much space between where you're laying down and the person above you and the bunk above you, where, you know, it's.
I'd say if you're laying down, it's about right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of space, and holy cow, man! Since then, I'm so thankful for my bed and sleeping the where I get to sleep, because that's a whole different level. And if you're a person who gets claustrophobic really easily, you could freak out in there. So I have a much better appreciation for what you guys do. Just seeing the environment and the atmosphere you guys have to work on day in and day out, and all the different things that you're dealing with. And anytime when you got just people on top of each other all the time, it creates tension. It creates, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, we'd butt heads a lot.
Yeah.
You know, just someone had a bad day that day, and you think they're kind of targeting you, but it's not always like it's not sentimental. It's like, hey man, let's talk. Let's get this out. They get in your face. You're like, dude, get the fuck out of my face before I hit you.
Yeah.
And a lot of fights almost happened.
But I was to say, but then still you have to make it work. I mean, you know, everybody knows you still got months, you know, or, you know, whatever left to be around each other. It can't just be a constant, you know, brawl every day of every time. So you got to still work it out and figure it out.
And normally it's like within your department, like you never really converse with people outside your department, and if you do, it's just because you're really good friends before. Yeah. And no, you're getting your best friends you're gonna butt heads with. Yeah. You know, you had a bad day, someone yelled at you that day for something stupid, and you're just like, you know, you just want to take it out on the world. Yeah. So someone, you know, just kind of, it feels like they're just in the slightest way targeting you. Right. You're gonna retaliate. Yeah. And then you kind of have to, after, in the heat of the moment, you're not realizing it. And then that's a good thing with kind of about your higher ups, because they want to stop that, because, you know, they don't want you both to go to mass or make a stupid decision, go on restriction before we get home. And so they'll nip it, like, you go over there, like, they gotta treat you like kids sometimes. Like, you go over there, cool out. Yeah. And you'll go over there, you know, you talk with somebody else, you're like, dude, you're just being stupid. Like, you know, everyone gets yelled at. Yeah. Just calm down. Yeah. You're like, all right, you're right. And you go back over there, you know, dab up your buddy. You're like, I'm sorry. I was being today. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what it takes. So, you know, and you and I share the gene where we get upset. We can get pretty hot-headed pretty quick. Yeah. So I know how hard it is to try to come down from that heightened state of, you know, where it's like you look around, it's like you have a hammer and everything's a nail. Mm-hmm. So it's not an easy thing to overcome. But yeah, for the sake of your career and your well-being and like you said, you can do something to the point to where you lose privileges that you're waiting to have, right? When you get into port, you're waiting to call your loved ones. You can lose that privilege. Mm-hmm. You know? When you go on restrictions, they take your phone. Yeah. Even when we're in Port San Diego, when you're on restriction, you have to stay on the ship for however many your sentence is, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But, you know, you lose your phone. All your technology, you lose your family or your loved ones can only come visit you once a week. So on Sundays, you know, you're working all day. Yep. You know, they have to work from they muster at 06, so an hour and 15 minutes before everybody else does, and they don't get to go to bed till 10 o'clock. And when they go to bed, they have to go to bed. Mm-hmm. It's not like, I mean, they can stay awake and look at the ceiling, but yeah, they can't have the technology. They can't watch a movie or no. Yeah, they can't go walk around the ship, be running. No, they have to be in their rack. Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely a big deal to lose those privileges and not be able to have that communication that you want, because that's everything. I would assume, especially when you're out on deployment and you know pulling into port. You're like, you know, it was about what 3.5 weeks between ports a lot of times, or 4 weeks in between ports. So it's like, and you know, when you get to port, you might have a day, 2, or even 3 days sometimes to like, oh, cool, we can get off. We can go experience the culture of whatever country you're in. We get to, you know, we can talk and text people. We can do all these things. But if you lose that and you're stuck on the ship for those days now it's maybe 2 months of no contact and no. Well, like a lot of times it was, like I said, you know, 42, 50, 53 days underway. Yeah. You know, it's already a month and a half of just being out in the middle of the ocean. So when you get the port announcement, like, hey, we're pulling in port today, you're like, oh, thank God. Yeah. You know, I can't even imagine what the restriction guys are going through. Like, yeah, I don't get to leave. That's got to just,
I can't imagine how disheartening that would have to be. But also knowing you did it to yourself.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean that's
a lot of them are very dumb mistakes.
yeah.
You know, I know a lot of stupid stories. But it's we get a brief
Yeah.
every time we pull in the port.
Yeah.
Every single time. You do this, don't do this. 21, you can drink. 21 after under 21, don't drink.
Yeah.
And if you do, and you get caught, you're going to math.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta know.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid out on time.
Because no matter what the country's law is for drinking age.
It really depends on the CEO.
Oh, okay.
So it's the CEO's discretion. He can say like, hey, here it's 20. If you're 20, you can drink.
Yeah.
I think there was one port where it was like, if you're 20, you can drink.
Yeah.
But most of the time it was
21.
If it was 18, it's 21.
Yeah.
21. You
Yeah.
know, we still live by American laws. So
Yeah.
you're gonna drink it.
Because technically, you're still always on your American. You're an American vet. It's almost like you're on this little pad of American soil everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, it's all about just CEO's discretion. But I get why he's like, if you're 21, you can drink.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's stupid. And once they reach a certain point, they're just not even using the motors in here anymore. They're just using everything. They don't care.
Yeah.
So they will get into trouble. And it was crazy, at the day after we're done being in port, back underway, that line of people in their dress uniforms waiting to talk to. So first was DRB, so you're talking to the command master chief, and then all the other chiefs, and they're just sitting there yelling at you. And then she decides if you go to mass with the XO, and then you go to, after that, you go to, I don't know, because I've never been, but you go to somewhere else. And then after that, he kind of tells you, like, all right, this is what's going to happen. It's the XO. He's like, you're not going to talk. You're going to explain yourself, what you did. And then after that, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go talk to the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells you, 90 days restriction.
He just gives it the punishment.
Yeah. It's kind of like 60-60. So it's 60 days restriction, 60 days extra duty. So when you get out for extra duty, it's still part of it.
Yeah.
But it's basically just like when you get off work, you got to go work for other departments. do all their shit work that they don't want to do.
Right. They just leave it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then there's even worse punishments where, they can do 60-60, and then they can do half month's pay times 2. So cut your pay in half for 2 months. So that's 4 paychecks cut in half. And then they can also derank you, however many ranks they want. So I've seen, on the plan of the day where it has all the times and everything that's going on through like big operations that day.
Okay.
Or, like they'll have the services like, for church and stuff on there and and what time chow is and all that stuff. So if you have a question, just go look at that. You kind of know what's going on. And then at the other side, it shows, E3 bumped down to E1
So it's got like
for assault and battery and 60 days restriction, 60 days extra duty.
they post all those?
Yeah, they posted it.
Holy cow.
They don't say the names.
Right.
But they tell you how many people went to
But
mass.
some people will be like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's Johnny.
Yeah, right.
Dummy.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
dude. That is so gangster.
And I mean, after a while, you can figure it out because they have to wear a little red tag at all times, to know that, like, even if they try to walk off the quarter deck, they'll be like, "Dude, your picture's right here. Like, we know that you can't leave, so get back in there.
Yeah.
Go to sleep."
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they have a red tag on them, so you know who's on restriction.
Oh, so they're marked.
Oh, dude,
It's like, holy shit.
my buddy Malloy, he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met, but he got on restriction for, I don't know what he went on for. Oh, he fell asleep on watch. So our watch, where we stand outside, we got to look, make sure we don't hit anything, run over marine life, or just make sure we're not about to get attacked.
Yeah.
And we have to report to the bridge anything that we see.
Yeah.
Anything that we see, we have to report. But 2 to 7s. So like our watch is a 24-hour watch. And you stand 5 hours watch every day. So you got 2 port ass, forward lookout, messenger, and you drive. You drive the ship. So, when you work all day, and then all you want to do is hang out for a little bit, go to sleep, kind of get your mind off of working and talk to your buddies.
Yeah.
So you do that. And sometimes you accidentally stay up later than you want to because you got the 2 to 7.
Yeah.
And the worst thing about the 2-7 is if you barely got any sleep, you got to go stand 5 hours of watch, and then right when you get off watch, you got to go back to work.
Oh shit.
So like, you know, you're up for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's very hard to stay awake sometimes on watch because all you're just staring at the peaceful ocean.
Right. You know, it's like rocking you to sleep.
Yeah, you're over here, you know, doing the head bob.
Right.
Yeah, you fell asleep on watch, and the XO, not the C, like he's the CO now, but the XO at the time, happened to catch him on watch.
Oof.
Yeah, so that's where he went to Mastermore.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a dingbat. He's a funny Italian dude,
Yeah.
but he kept being, you can't be late to your restriction musters because they muster like 9 times a day.
Yeah.
And he kept being late because he would run out of time. Because deck department runs us to the ground.
Yeah.
And, you know, in restrictions, you have to be at those musters. He'd be like, I gotta go to muster. And I'd be like, finish what you're doing real quick and then go. And then, you know, he'd be late. So they got him this big, giant, like, Flavor Flav clock to put on his belt. So everywhere he goes, he has this giant alarm clock, and it's set, and it's like old alarm clock.
Oh man.
That he has to wear in his belt at all times.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So anybody out there thinking about being in the military, just know it's no joke.
Yeah.
Beyond the push-ups and the running and all that stuff, man, it's a whole different world.
It's very big. It's a big mind game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Holy cow. So yeah, when so we got the tour of the ship, and that, like I said, it was definitely really cool. We got a lot of pictures that posted, you know, on social media, and it was just so cool to see, you know, what it is that what it is that you were doing out there, because, you know, I can only imagine, you know, whatever's going on, and even like you're saying, like the watches, if you just tell somebody, oh, I was on watch, and like in their head, they might think, oh, okay, you're just out there watching, checking stuff out, and maybe seem kind of boring, but it's a job, and it's an important job. And the reason why, you know, your friend got in trouble for it is because, look, if something were to happen while he was asleep, I mean, that's a big deal, right? It's,
yeah.
So like every job, as maybe as boring and mundane as it may seem from somebody on the outside looking in, it has a very specific function. There's a very specific reason
There's
for
a
it.
reason why it is that.
Well, yeah, and even when you know, you see or you hear stories, I think of something that I don't want to say it, like if you hear like, oh, something happened and it was because the guy on watch caught it enough ahead of time that he's able to communicate that everybody could react, and therefore they kept from having some kind of disaster, or kept from being attacked, or kept from hitting, you know, whatever, right?
Usually the biggest thing for us, besides being, you know, under attack or colliding into another ship, is your man overboards. Because those are your man on your ship. Those are the people you live, breathe, eat, bleed, sweat, and die with, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and mostly it's flight deck people, or maybe it's someone going through a hard time and they just like, you know, screw it and they jump overboard. You know, it's our responsibility. We're the last people to see them, unless it's somebody who's chilling back aft, you know, just looking at the night air and sees them. But it's our job to look down, and if they're floating away, you know, we have to report that, because they have the ocean's cold. They have probably about 25 minutes till they die of hypothermia.
Oh.
So, and it still takes, we have to lower our life raft. We have to turn it around and get everybody that needs to be there at that time on the boat, lower it, turn it around, go get them.
And you guys drill that. You guys practice that.
Oh, yeah, about once a week. We did it like once every 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, we'd drill it. Mainly what we drilled every day, or every once a week for deployment, was general quarters, and that is if we're under attack. So we kind of like, because everyone has to get to a specific locker and have a specific job during that.
Yeah.
And muster everybody and get everything.
Yeah.
But the thing about man overboard is we have to muster real fast. So your sleep, your whatever it is, because they're trying to throw you offset.
Yeah.
So you're prepared.
Yeah.
So you could be dead asleep in your rack, and you know, if you hear that man overboard call, you know, it's kind of your other people's responsibility too to wake you up, be like, hey, we got to go muster. And deck department has to get to the boat deck first, because we lower the life raft.
Yep.
So you know, we can shove people out of the way, jump over people, hurdle people, and but no, you kind of got to get there pretty fast, because you want to muster everybody in a quick time. So it helps us understand who's out there,
Right.
who is actually, you know, overboard. So, yeah, that's a crazy drill.
So I have a dumb question, and I've heard you say it a million times. I never knew what it meant. What is muster?
Muster is like taking attendance.
Oh, okay.
We just call it muster.
Okay.
Muster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like taking attendance.
Yeah. I don't know why I always thought it was something else. I always thought it was like getting ready, like shaving and all that stuff.
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
that's getting ready.
No.
No,
So for anybody out there who's probably wondering too, what the fuck is mustard? That's what it is.
it's attendance.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's such a crazy thing to have to worry about. People going, and man, I tell you what, when you look down, even when the ship came in, I'm looking up. I'm like, that's a long way to fall down if you fall into the water. I mean, what is it? 5 stories?
When we're back aft, it's about, that's it. I think it's like 60, 65 feet.
Yeah.
In the flight deck, you're hitting about 120.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, I can't even imagine hitting the water at that.
And you know, we're even like most of the time we're still going about 20 knots, which is still pretty fast. So if you hit that water, you know, you very well kill yourself, snap your spine, snap your neck.
Yeah, for sure. Probably break a leg or something and then not be able to swim very well.
Yeah.
I mean, just, oh, holy shit, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it's a trip because you just think, oh, yeah, well, I'll jump in the water and like almost like you're going to jump off a diving board. No, it's not the same.
No.
I mean, the speed that you're coming down.
The speed and the way our ship's designed is that, you know, underneath, basically where the hull of the ship is still, and this is why, if anybody asks, like, why birds always buy boats and stuff, it's because the wind that we give off, all they have to do is float. They don't have to flap their wings as much. So all that wind that's coming underneath us, when somebody jumps, somebody falls, and they hit that where all that wind is, it's going to blow them out of where they think they're going.
Oh, shit.
So if someone jumps like, oh, okay, I'm going to land right here. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm just, you know, this is just, I'm going to be all right. They jump, they hit that wind. It's fast wind. Yeah. It's not like it's like 80 mile an hour wind. Yeah. It's just going to throw you. Yeah. Like you're nothing. Like you're a little ragdoll.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, man. Think about that before you jump. Holy shit.
Yeah. I think so. It keeps a lot of people from jumping.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be a soft landing.
No.
It's going to be very painful.
Yeah. And then you're in super cold ass water.
Super cold ass water, and you're with gangster creatures that you have no idea what's underneath you.
That part freaks me out.
That I don't get in the ocean. We had these swim calls all the time where, you know, you'd be like, oh, we're here, you can swim a little bit in the ocean. I'd get in and I'd be like, dude, it's literally dark blue underneath me. I can't see it. And every time I think of like the Jaws cover when, you know, she's just chilling in the floaty, he's coming up, like, I would never see that.
I know.
And I'd get out.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, screw that.
No, me neither.
And we got to go in the Marianas Trench, which is the deepest part of the ocean.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's the deepest part of the ocean. And we've never even discovered it. We just know that there's mountains down there, like mountains under the ocean. Yeah. I'm like, dude, what the fuck lives down there? Like,
dude, yeah, it's not like a bunch of fluffy animals.
No, like Care Bears and shit down there. No, dude.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I'm done.
It's all gangster creatures.
Yeah. I didn't even get in there.
No.
I wanted to, you know, be able to say like I dipped my toe in there. I was like, no, and now like. You know, they're like, it's cool because now you get to say you got to swim in the deepest part of the ocean. I was like, or die.
Yeah. Or your family gets to tell everybody that their son once swam
in the deepest part of the ocean.
Fuck that.
Nah, dude.
Oh my god.
I don't mess with the ocean.
I always have this picture in my head. Not only the jaws coming up underneath me, like, and you can't see, but all these other like eels and just like whatever creature can kill you and shred you to pieces.
Yeah.
They're all under there waiting. Like, please come in. Please come in. We're so bored down here. And they're just waiting.
Yeah. And another thing, a picture is like, have you ever seen 47 Meters Down?
No.
So it's kind of a cheesy movie. Like the acting's all right.
Yeah.
But the movie still gives you major anxiety.
Yeah.
Major anxiety.
All those movies give you anxiety.
Because, you know, when they fall and they're in the crate and they land on Coral 47 meters down and they get this, there's this part where they're swimming up and because they're running out of air. So they have to get back up to the boat and they're swimming and their flare goes out and sharks don't like flares. So they go away and they light another flare and there's like 20 sharks around them because the light went out. That part, dude, sinks my heart. So whenever I go under the water in the ocean, I just think, if I open my eyes and there are 20 sharks around me, dude, I'm done. What am I gonna do? Fight them?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna punch them in the nose and
choke them out.
Yeah, they're all gonna be like, ooh, no. And they'll be like, all right, motherfucker, let's go. You want to do this?
They're like, oh, that's cute.
Dude, it's a shark.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where they live. That's where they die. This is their world.
Yeah.
And people that think that, okay, if I go in here, I punch it in the nose, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be all right. Yeah, there's a shark's gonna swim away.
Yeah.
No, dude. If a shark gets on land, it's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in
it,
its world.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Walk on water?
Right.
Run on the water? Run away? No. Michael Phelps couldn't get away from a shark.
No.
The fastest swimmer in the world.
Yeah.
He's not getting away.
No.
A shark swims, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
No, dude.
Yeah, that freaks me out too.
It gives me major anxiety. I don't mess with the ocean.
There's just so many things down there, and they're all, and like you said, it's almost like the ultimate ghetto for animals, where it's all just like cutthroat.
Yeah, even at your wedding, when we were scuba diving, you saw that alien looking thing.
Yeah, that was crazy. And who knows what, I wanted to see it up close. Yeah. But it could have just wrapped its tentacles around me and just strangled me.
Or shot a poisonous dart in your heart.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what that thing can do.
You don't know. It's crazy.
We have discovered 3% of the ocean.
Yeah.
And we have been here for how many years? Forever.
Yeah.
We have technology to maybe discover more. But also, when you get too deep in the ocean, it crushes you.
Yeah.
And does nothing.
Yep. What's that?
And also, we can't breathe down there.
No. So that's what's even crazier, like, because like all those little creatures that the ones that we do know that live real deep, like we get to a certain point, and even if we send a camera down there, just the pressure from all that water above it,
a little tiny camera, we go down there,
it'll just crush it, right?
Nothing.
But yet those creatures can still live down there.
Exactly.
Why are we not afraid?
And even the above creatures that stay, within 50 feet down, 100 feet down, they can go down there. Mm-hmm. They can go all the way down and talk to the other fish and be like, hey, when people come down here, we're going to fuck them up, right?
Yeah. Well, here's what's even crazier, too. So of all the predators that live, and then we take a whole big segue, but of all the predators that live in the ocean, the ones that we see are still alive, which means they're gangster enough to still be there.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy.
Dude.
I know. It scares the crap out of me. Here's what's even weirder for me. I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know if it's just because, it just freaks me out. I would even be, so like if I got into like a boat wreck, right, and then I'm floating on a fucking door or something, right, just trying to survive, what I think would give me, besides the heart attack that I would have from just wondering what's underneath me, is if I saw, even though whales don't eat people, if a whale tail just like came up right next to me and it was fucking 3 stories up and then just boom, crashes down, and I'm like, that would freak me out. Well, and whales don't even do nothing.
No, like, we'd see whales, looking at on watch all the time. You see the tail. It's not pretty far. We have to let the British know, like, hey, there's a whale, because if we run over a whale, it's about $500,000 the CO has to pay. So, we have to let them know, because if we kill something like that, it's our ass, not the CO's ass. He pays the money, but then you got to deal with how mad he is at you because he just paid $500,000 for us killing a whale.
Yeah.
But no, when you see, it's, about 1,000 yards out, and you can still see that giant tail come out and smash down in the water, and then it just disappears.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's just under there. Yeah. That was just the tail.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so big.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I can't even imagine if you were on a little ass boat and the tail came up, and then if it just came down on you, like, that's a wrap.
And not even just the tail. Like, sometimes they bridge the whole body coming out.
Oh yeah, and
then they fall on their back.
Yeah, that's like what do you call it? What's that whale? It's the logo for some insurance company, I think, and that's what it does. It comes up and just splashes down. I don't know either, so I don't know why I brought it up. So yeah, man, military life, crazy. But now you're back, back in San Diego, back where that's where you're stationed at, and got some base housing now, and learning how to be a full-on adult.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I know. Well, so going in that, for me, I did 1 year of college, and even in college life, it's not, you live in a dorm. I mean, yeah, you got to buy some groceries, you got to buy some basic things, but it's still like a limited version of what it's like to be on your own. I'm assuming being in the military, you being on the ship or something like that is kind of
And
the same thing.
barracks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing where it's like a limited version. Now you got like an apartment.
Yeah. And so I got, I have a house. And you have a house, but they don't tell you, like you're telling me, all the stupid little shit that you gotta buy for this house.
Yeah.
Little toothbrush holder, $5. You think it's gonna add to it, but
Yeah.
all that little shit adds up. And then when you get to the register, it's like you spent $300-$400. You're like, do about 9 things.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, it's a constant cycle all the time. I see it and I went through it myself. When you're a young teen, you kind of finally getting some independence, 14, 15 years old, and you're like, I can handle anything in life. I just want to be on my own, and I show everybody how smart I am, and I can just do it all. Mm-hmm. And you just want to be a grown up. You think what you think a grown up is. You're like, I just want to do that because then no one can tell me to clean my room. No one can tell me to go to bed. No one can tell me to
eat whatever I want.
Yeah, it's like I can eat Pop-Tarts all day. And it's like you can. I mean, you definitely can. Yeah. It's not. I don't encourage that.
No,
but.
No.
But you have in your head what you think it's like to be an adult. It's like all this freedom, and there's definitely some of that.
Yeah.
But you have
a lot of responsibility.
That's the thing is now you have to pay for everything to be able to enjoy those freedoms.
Yeah, a lot of it is it's not even just for you. Like you have loved ones. I have Paige and my fiance, so like I kind of have to be there for her too. I can't just be like, okay, all my bills are paid, but I'm gonna go on this $200 trip by myself, and then risk of not being able to pay the bills for her to live in the house with me.
Yeah.
And risk of losing the truck or anything like that. So it's definitely you kind of have to be responsible with what you do.
Yeah. You got to plan ahead a little bit more. You gotta, and you have to be willing to tell yourself, I really, 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 really want to do this. I have the money to enjoy this, but if I do it, like you said, this is all for me, for this enjoyment for right now. But what happens when next month the bills are coming? Or what happens if I get a flat tire? What happens if whatever, like anything can happen.
And that $200 would have paid for it.
Yeah. And now everything's thrown off, because, you didn't tell yourself, nope, I just can't do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard part. I've even had to learn the hard way myself is how to tell yourself when you really truly can't afford something. And not being able to afford it doesn't mean I don't physically have the money. It means I have the money, but I don't have enough money to be able to have true disposable income in the amount of 200, 400, whatever it is, to put forth to this one thing. Because if anything else happens in my life, I won't be prepared for it. I won't be able to handle it. And then I put my family in some kind of jeopardy or dire straits because now we have to scramble to try to make this money up, or we have to spend now more money on Ubers and stuff just to get to and from work or just to go to the store because I can't fix my flat tire.
Yeah.
So that's one of the hardest things I think to learn as an adult because so many adults just never learn that lesson.
Yeah.
They just continue doing themselves. And I was guilty of that for so long. And it takes a very certain amount of discipline to do it. Some people naturally have it. They can just say, I'm just not going to do it. It's not the right thing to do. And some people are like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to go have fun.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. So yeah, you're in that mode right now of learning how to
figure it all out.
Figure it all out how to be.
I'm so guilty of $20, $100 hoodie. I can throw it on. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then something happens. You're like, well, I could really use $100.
Yeah, you're like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the no matter what anybody tries to teach you in life, a lot of things are you just have to learn them.
Yeah,
and that's
great. Like, especially on deployment, we make a lot of money on deployment.
Yeah,
we spend money on board, we have fun, and then even when we come back, I had $12,500. I don't have any of that anymore. Of buying a truck, getting a house, furnishing the house, and just living and food and everything like that. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean you see how fast it can go.
Yeah.
How
$12,000 gone.
Yeah, and so it's
in a matter of like a month.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's but even like when you decided you were going to go into the military and all these things and big decisions in life, I've learned that everything we do, everything is just life. Everything is it's you make a decision and you go down the path of that decision, and then something else comes up, or you decide to make a different decision to alter your path again and go down this other path. And that's life is just a series of doing all those things. Mm-hmm. Is it good to plan ahead and to be maybe a little bit more conservative with your money and to save some and do? Yeah, I'm sure there is. There's definitely a lot of advantages to doing that. But when you're young, for me to try to tell you, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, right? You follow this path and everything will be wonderful. It may be better financially. It may be better based on what my experience was. It doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. And I think as human beings, we're always kind of like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I want to experience my version of life for myself. Mm-hmm. And now that being said, if you're like, I'm going to go, jump my dirt bike on the freeway, I'm not gonna let that happen, right? I'm not gonna let you drink poison because you think it might taste good. There's certain things where, for sure, as parents, you're like, nope, I'm telling you, this is a dead end road. This is not gonna be good for you. This is all bad. But other than that, it's like you have to kind of start. I can offer advice. I can give you my opinion. I can say, this is what my experience was with this kind of a situation. But at the end of the day, I want you to make your own decisions. I want you to figure out your version of life for yourself. I don't want you to have my life. Even if my life was perfect the whole way through, which it never would be, but even if I thought I mastered it every step of the way, I still wouldn't want you to have that version. I want you to have your version. Mm-hmm. And that's something it's hard to do as a parent, because initially it's like you want to go, no, do this. No, do this path, right? It's better. I promise you it's better. And it may be, in a sense, better on an average scale, right? But even if it's better for me, even if it's better for my neighbor or for this person, that person, it doesn't mean it would be better for you. And that's hard to wrap your head around, I think, as a parent.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm glad that you're doing it. You're making your decisions. You're figuring things out, and you're going to hit your roadblocks and bumps. And, and things, and you'll still, and you always know, I mean, my ear is always there to listen, if you want to vent about something, if you want to, run something by me and ask my opinion, you always know, I'll give you my honest opinion. Mm-hmm. I won't sugarcoat it. I'll just tell you, I'll tell you what I think. And then you take that information and you use it however you see fit. And then for me, it's, you ask my opinion, that's it, we're done. I'm not gonna be like, well, how come you didn't do it my way? And that's, I think it's hard for a lot of people. I see people do it all the time with their kids, and it's like, man.
I'm very thankful for both sides of my parents. You and Elena and my mom and Alan. Like, they're always like I'm just gonna tell you, like, this is how it was. This is how we got through it. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to do it that way. Mm-hmm. It's probably good for you to do it that way, but you can alter it in any way that you see fit for yourself. Mm-hmm. But we're not gonna sit there and pound and make sure that this is the way you have to do it.
Yeah, I've never thought that could be a good way to do things. I've seen so many people I've met. I had a friend back in grade school, even. His dad was like that. His dad was a colonel at the time. Mm-hmm. His dad went on, I heard from my dad, he would tell me later on that he became a high ranking general, got all the way, I think, to like joint chief of staff. I mean, he was super high up, but his dad, man, it would beat him into the ground. I mean, every little thing, and to the point where even in grade school, my friend started to rebel a little bit, and he would get an earring. He started dating this girl that they did not approve of. I mean, he started to rebel. I heard later on that he got back on track and ended up having a really good career, I think, in the military. So, but he just got pounded, and I remember seeing that, thinking, you're teaching them how to be super disciplined. Like, I could see what he was trying to do,
but wasn't going about it the right ways.
Yeah, but I also thought, like, I don't remember ever really going over his house to hang out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no like love in this house. Like, we were at my house all the time. And even though
me and Paige saw that with some of our classmates, and I won't say their names, but. These two girls that were just super disciplined, barely got to hang out barely got to hang out with friends. It was school this, go to bed after that. Mm-hmm. Wake up, get your schoolwork done at school, bring your homework, do your homework, go to bed. It was that. And do the chores and no back talk, none of that. It's a disciplined life. Dude, when they went to college, they
Buck wild.
Buck wild. One's pregnant now at barely 20 years old.
Yeah.
Or she's not even pregnant. She already had her baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, becoming a parent is a great thing to go through. But now this little girl doesn't get to live her life a little bit. Go through her 20s and have fun a little bit, experience the world. Just got to be there for that child.
Yeah.
And even the guy, that made the mistake. So
yeah. I mean, and then at that point, I always think, because my mom my mom was very young when she had me, and she had to give up her, young, years hanging out and having fun, take care of me and work all the time and do whatever it takes. But now, she's able to my mom's able to live her life and have fun. And, obviously it's a long road in between, and it doesn't work that way for everybody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just never come out of it and are always struggling their whole life. And, but I think if you make the right decision and you raise your kids and you're there for them, and even if they do it separately, your mom and I did it separately, and we made it work. And in fact, for people that we know, we have kind of become, we became the model for how to kind of co-parent in different households, and even in different cities. And I assume, and you and I have talked about this before, I assume, and from the conversations we've had, all you ever knew was everybody gets along, everybody loves you, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like your mom and I never fought. We were never like, well, I'm gonna have him now, and you're not gonna do anything. It was never like this tension. Anytime I ever, wanted you, she was always like, yeah, sure, no problem. And even to the point where Alan, your stepdad, and shout out to Alan, by the way. I told him at your graduation, I said, I even broke down, and I was like, I could never have handpicked anybody better to be there for you when I couldn't be there.
Yeah, he's an amazing dad. Very fortunate to be there for me.
And for a dad to not have to worry, because that used to drive me crazy. Where I was like, just when he first came in the picture, I didn't know who he was, and I think I even told your mom, like, if anything happens to Cameron because of him, I'm like, I'm a little crazy.
Yeah.
But because as a dad, and as a parent, you want the best, and you're like, well, when I can't be there, how do I make sure that the person who is there is, at the very least, just providing a good environment? And at the end of the day, you realize, like, I have no power here,
Yeah.
unless I, go there and kill him and bury him in the desert.
Yeah.
But even that's not a good solution. I mean, you're not solving the problem because someone else will come in, right? And so it's like, it's so hard to kind of relinquish this control and this saying, this person has my kid's life in their hands and how they're going to be raised and the things that they're going to expose them to. And I don't really have a whole lot. I have a say, but at the end of the day, they can tell me to F off, and then what am I going to do? Am I going to move down? I mean, like, there's only so much you can do. The best thing you can do is communicate. Just work together, communicate, and say, look, we all want the best for our son, or if you have a daughter and you're going through this, we all want the best for our child. How do we make this all work? And let's all take our egos out of it, because it only takes one. It only takes one person to let their ego get out of control, and the whole thing goes to shit.
Yeah. The
whole thing will go to shit. And then you're in constant turmoil of what's going on with my kid. And then next time I want my son, well, no, it's not a good time. All of a sudden now it's not a good time. And they don't even have to give a reason. And then how am I going to fight this battle? And like, just to not have to ever worry about that. Never, ever worry about that.
We never had to. It was always like,
well, no.
Yeah, you can come to your house, like, hey, can we come down for the summer?
Yeah.
And it was always like, yeah, it's all good.
There's always no problem. No problem. And they always did a lot of times they did things that were over and above and beyond to make it easier for me to get you, whether it was, paying for part of the ticket, if it, when you had to fly, or when you lived in Arizona, it was, a lot of times your mom was like, oh, I don't want to have to drive all that way to meet you. And she's like, but I'll do it. And then Alan's in the back going, oh, I'll drive it. No problem. I was like, oh man, just for him, it was just, of course we'll do it.
Yeah.
Of course, I know you want to see your son. Of course we're going to do it. And that's the stuff that, like, we all got used to because it's just how we interacted.
Yeah.
And then I would hear these stories of people. I mean, they would live a block and a half away from each other, and they could never see their kid because they're just holding him.
Think of Alan and his ex-wife. You know,
Yeah,
they're just,
I don't want to put anybody on blast, but
yeah, no, just
but there's so many people that deal with that. In fact, I think that's the standard. That's the norm. That because two people couldn't work out the relationship for whatever reason, it doesn't even matter the reason why, right? If the person was a terrible, if they didn't want to be with you, a child to raise, and this child, I believe we all really truly want our kids to grow up to be good human beings. We want them to be productive and go into the military or do whatever it is they do to be a good person. But the only way to do that is you have to teach them through your actions as well.
yeah.
And if you guys are always fighting at each other, they say, well, you're telling me to be this way, but then you guys are acting this way. Like, it doesn't make sense to kids. Kids are smart. They pick up on that stuff. And even to the point where anytime my parents, your Gigi and Grandpa wanted to see you, your mom was like, yeah, absolutely. Anytime you want. And they would take you for a lot of times a week or two, up to Fresno where they live and hang out with them. And that was never a problem. And it was always good communication and it was always good vibes. And my mom would send home presents for everybody in your family. And, even on your birthday, they would send home presents for everybody. And that's so cool. And we all got to live that, throughout your life and even still to this day, you know, we all care about each other. We all want the best for each other and, you know, we're there for each other. So, that's, if anybody's listening and going through this, or know someone who's going through it, I'm telling you, this is the only way to do it. And you can only control yourself. I get it. You can only do your part. And if the other person's unwilling to do it, man, I don't know what to tell you because it's gotta be fucking miserable. Because you're so much of your heart is tied into this with your kids and you want the best for them, but the other person's not coming around. But if you can sit them down and have a conversation, and I think your mom and I even did this when you were a baby. It was a long time ago. And, we just decided, we were just like, look, we can't argue. We can't pull favorites. We can't do any of this weird stuff that people do. And it's a natural reaction to want to do. We used to play this, I don't know if it's called a game, but it was this thing we would do when you were real little. And your mom would say, Cameron, who's your favorite? And you say, mommy, you know. And then when I would have you like, Cameron, who's your favorite? You're like, da-da, right? And then we talk out on the phone. No, he said I'm the favorite. No. And then I was talking about with my mom, with your Gigi, and we were saying how we do this. And she's like, you can't do that. Like you're going to make him pick favorites. Like it's not like right now it's funny, it's cute because he's little, he doesn't really kind of know, but he's going to learn it and then he's going to pick a favorite. And then you guys are going to be doing things you normally wouldn't do to be the favorite. Like this is not good.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I'm 24 years old at this time, 25 years old maybe. And I'm still pretty young and I'm stupid. And so, I realized, yeah, that's probably not a good thing to do. And so I talked to your mom and I said, look, I didn't tell her what to do. I just said, look, I'm not going to do this anymore because I don't want him to feel like he has to choose between us who is his favorite. We're both in this together. We want to raise a good person. So, I just said, I'm not going to do this anymore. You do what you want, but I'm not going to do it anymore. And being the wonderful person your mom is, and she didn't do it again either. And we just decided, yeah, this is not a good idea. And it's been that way every step of the way since then.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, that's the only way to go. And now every time you come to see us, there's never any guilt. You're at your mom's house, there's never any guilt. You go see, my parents, there's never guilt. You go see Alan's parents, right?
Yeah.
And over there in Colorado, there's never any guilt. There's no, I'm not like, oh, he should be with me at this time. It's of course, everybody wants you as much as we can, but it's not like, oh, well, he should be with me and, oh, F those people over there. It's never like that. And you never have to worry about that.
No.
When you're booking a trip and this is what I'm going to do with my leave time, you can just say, well, this is what I'm going to do and never have to worry about, oh, but if I do this, my dad's going to be pissed or, oh, my mom's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah. I was very fortunate to grow up with that.
Yeah. So, well, we love you and
yeah.
It's you were our number one priority always, and that's how it should be. And you have to take your personal feelings and your ego. That's why I always I talk about that on this podcast a lot. Is the ego? Ego's a motherfucker, man. And if you let it, it will run you into the ground.
Yeah.
So that being said, I want to talk about the game that we play.
What game?
I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna introduce the world to throw it away.
Oh shit.
So this, I was gonna talk about this like 6 months ago on this podcast, but I was like, no. I gotta do it with Cameron because this is the only way. So we play this game in our house, and it just kind of started all on its own. Where we would come up with word, we'd use like the Snoop Dogg, right? We'd put the Z, the IZA in words, and so I would do it because first of all, Snoop's one of the coolest people of all time. So I copied him, and I would just do it, and everybody does it, right? We put the IZA in certain words to try to make it sound cool.
Yeah.
Everything that Snoop puts it in, it sounds cool. So I'm not on that level yet, obviously, but I would do it. And what was it? Was it Ranch? Was the first one?
It was Ranch.
And I was like, oh, I gotta get some Rizanch, and you were like, oh, Rizanch, I like that. And then like later on that day or the next day, I did it for another word, and you were like, oh, that's terrible. No, I can't do that, right? Because it didn't flow. It didn't have the right flow. And then we were talking about how your Uncle Jamie on your mom's side, he would do this thing when we would play poker. And back when I was with his mom, we would hang out on Thanksgiving, and we'd always play poker at his house. And he would do this thing where he would hold his cards at the very end, and he would say, okay, what do you got? And you say, I have a straight, throw it away. And he'd say, before you could finish what your hand, because he already knew he won.
It'd be a royal flush, you'd be like, throw it away.
Well, no, but that was
but it'd be ridiculous.
But you could have a great hand in poker, right? You could have a flush, you could have a really, really good hand, a full house. But he knew he was sitting with the winner. He had like four threes or something like that, or he had the highest full house aces over, queens or something. And so he's sitting there knowing, and he's like, what do you got? Oh, I have to throw it away. So he would go around the whole table, throw it away. And then you're like, okay, what do you have? He's like, I got the full house, or I got 4 of a kind. You're like, okay, fine. And so I always thought it was funny that he would just say, throw it away before you could even finish what your bitch ass hand was. So I thought it was funny. And so I started using it. And so we started using it when you would come up with a word, like if you try to say water and throw is it Wizotter?
Throw it away.
Throw that shit away. That's dog shit, right? So then we started doing that with everything that we came up with, and we got our whole family into it.
It's not even with the word game. Like, throw it away is just with anything.
Well, I was getting there. Yeah, so it became that. But so we started doing it with the word game, and so there became different levels, right? There was throw it away if it was garbage, right? If it was good, you're like, okay, that's a good one, right? You're like, and then there was, or if it was money, like if it was like awesome, it was like, okay, it's money. And then
Hall of Fame.
There was Hall of Fame. If someone just came up with something that was just perfect, or it could be perfect timing of whatever was going on, it became a Hall of Fame. It could be a word, or it could be a phrase, or it could just be something that you did.
And the thing about these words is that, like, we don't even, whatever it is now, like, we don't call it by the word. We call it by our word.
Yes. Yeah.
Like Panda Express is Pandeezy.
Pandeezy.
You know, it's never like, oh, we're going to go to Panda, we're going to go to Panda Express. Let's get some Pandeezy.
Yeah, get some Pandeezy. Yeah. So, and then Pandeezy is a funny one because that's the other category where it's like, at first you're like, nah, I don't like that one. But then it grows on you.
Well, we even threw it away. Like, me and Garrison threw it away.
You guys threw it away. I said it was money.
We threw it away because we just were like, no, we don't want it. It's dumb. And we're like, throw it away. And then, I actually am guilty of, because that's the point of this game, is that someone will say something to throw it away, and you'll just be, driving by yourself, or, and I was with Paige, because she loves Panda, I don't like Panda. But we're driving, and I was just like, oh, you want some Pandeezy? And I was like, now I gotta call him and tell him that I used the word.
It's now money.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's money now. Put it in the Hall of Fame so Garrison can't say shit.
No. And that's the other thing too. If it goes in the Hall of Fame, like, somebody else can't just be like, no, it's garbage, throw it away. No. It's in the Hall of Fame. And it's usually pretty, and here's the other part of the game. You have to be honest. Like, you can't just throw away other people's shit.
Because you want to.
Because you want your own shit.
And we were guilty of it for a while. Yeah. It was just like, it would be a good word, you'd be like, throw it away, and you're like, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
So so it becomes this thing now where we use Pandeezy all the time. If we ever go to Cane's, if we go to Kazane's. And that's the other, sometimes you have to say it a certain way, because if you say Kazane's, it's like, well, that's, no. It's,
so the flair on it.
Yeah. Like that's like the right accent to it, like Kazane's.
Yeah.
Right? So we do this thing, and it's fun for us, right? And then we do it with everything. Like, sometimes And we do it because we like to bust on. No, that's not right. We like to crack jokes. we like to crack jokes with each other, or bust each other's chops all the time, and sometimes when you think you have something to say to bust their chops, and then you're like, well, you start stuttering on your words, like, no, throw it away. Yeah, instantly, because you only got, it has to flow out very nicely.
Or just even in general with us, we're pretty much my whole family, everybody on my mom's side, your side, just everybody. It's a ball busting world out here. So you can't stutter. You can't. It's always like you say those words and you're like trying to catch it, come back because you know the fire is about to rain down on you.
Oh yeah. We give it to each other pretty good.
Yeah.
And then and sometimes like it could be something that somebody says that rings so true. So one time we were you weren't there yet. We had to call you. We were at your Gigi's house. It was me, my wife, and then our 10-year-old boy, Garrison, and we're there, and we're hanging out, and my mom's telling the story, and she was saying something about if you do this. I don't remember what the story was. I can't remember what the story was about. I just remember the punchline because it was so great. But she was saying, if you do this, then this is how you want to handle it. Because if you do this, and she was going to say, you're screwed, right? But Garrison, who's 10 years old, I think he was even 8 at the time.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to say you're screwed, right? Because, she tries to hold her language a little bit. And she goes, if you do that, you're El Scrudo.
Yes.
And so we thought it was hilarious. It was so funny. And so ever since then, Garrison uses El Scrudo for so much stuff. And then I called you. I'm like, dude, I got one for the Hall of Fame. I go, it's this. I had to explain to my mom what the game was, and what we like to do. And then Grandpa tried to put the Izza and stuff, and he didn't get it.
Yeah.
He did not get it. And he would put it actually in the wrong syllable, so it was even worse. I'm like, Dad, you gotta throw it away. It's like, you probably shouldn't play this game.
This game's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, but he loved it. He wanted to play. It was fun, and
he still tries.
He still tries. Yeah. So we have some fun with it. But the point of the game is it's not about points, it's not about anything. It's just about coming up with cool phrases and terms, or it could just be something that somebody even kind of does. Maybe it's a dance that they do after they won a game, and they get up and they start dancing or whatever. And maybe it's a certain move, and like, oh, it's Hall of Fame right there. So we just have fun with it because we like to bust each other's chops, but we also like to give each other props when somebody comes up with something awesome.
The great thing about the game though is like now it's altered to like whatever we do, that thought in your head like Riz Ranch is in there forever.
It's ever.
It's never like, I want some pizza and ranch, or like, can you go get the ranch? It's like, I want some pizza and Riz Ranch, son. It's altered in your brain to always be that now.
It is.
And that even it's deeper than that. So when you think about it, you're like, okay, this was a great time with my family to where, we could make such a fun process together and stuff like that. So
yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. And you and I mean, we have the same kind of sense of humor. We like that kind of sarcastic-y type of sense of humor, and we enjoy a lot of the same things, and we laugh. We get into these laughing, like, just fits, and we can't stop.
Belly laughs, yeah.
Belly laughs, and we're hunched over, and my stomach hurts, my sides hurt, my cheeks hurt. I can't.
And for us, we build on each other's laughter. So like, you laugh harder, I'm gonna laugh harder.
Yeah, we laugh,
and
at
then
each
we'll
other.
Totally stop, dude. Like we'll be like, catch your breath. Your cheeks start hurting. You start rubbing them, and we'll just bust out again.
Or someone will say the word that triggered what we were just laughing at, and then we look at each other, and we instantly, or we can't look at each other. We're like, okay, I can't look at you
because I'm
gonna start laughing, and we just get to a point. And I'll tell you, that is some of the funnest of all the fun things I've ever done. When I think about those times, and that was the stuff I was thinking about when you're on deployment too. I was just like, man, that's the stuff that I miss. I mean, money and all the things that you want to go out and do and go on trips. I mean, it's all great stuff. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy all those things too. But of all the things, that is the funnest thing that I always remember. And those are like our moments where it's like, in our world.
We almost got a fucking car crash.
Oh my god! We almost got into a car crash because we were driving over it. While I was driving when it happened, and I couldn't see, and I had just taken a drink of a smoothie or a shake?
It was like a shake.
A shake, and so I couldn't swallow the shake. I couldn't spit it out.
All of the windshield, it was night.
Yeah, I'm still driving. It's at night.
On the highway.
I'm laughing. Now I'm tearing up because I'm laughing so hard, and then I couldn't open my eyes because the tears were in the way. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going. This is crazy. And then finally I calmed down enough to swallow the shake so I could like breathe. And that's the other thing, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so crazy. We've had a lot of close calls, even just laughing. But yeah, it's so much fun. And like with the game, same thing. It's just all those things. Those are the things that mean the most and that we remember the most and are just like, that's the magic.
Yeah.
And these are things that, excuse me, those are things that we cultivate between us and with our family, on both sides of your family. We all cultivate with each other. And if you're not doing those things, if you're not, as a family, as friends and things, if you're not cultivating these things, you're missing out on so much, because that is really where the magic happens. People think it's, I want to be able to take them to nice dinners and go to nice places, and I want to be able to buy them nice gifts and, on their birthday and on the holidays and throw the big parties. And it's like, those things are all good. Don't get me wrong. And they can be fun if they are additional to the real stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And the real stuff is the everyday stuff, the stuff from the heart, the real conversations that we have with one another, the heart to hearts. And without that stuff, all the other stuff to me is meaningless.
Yeah.
Because then it's just empty. It's just stuff.
Yeah. And
it's all stuff that can be taken away and can go away.
Yeah.
But nobody can take away our times together.
Mm-hmm.
That's us. That's for us. And we've had it in diners late at night. We've had it, in hotel rooms, just laughing about stuff, and here at home and on the phone. You name it. It's there's nothing like it. And I'm excited to continue on and do many, many more and having more fun times, man. That's what's, for me, that's one of the best things about having you back in San Diego is I can just text you, this funny thing came up. And
this man single-handedly would just give me sent to the principal's office every day to send me stupid shit, and I'd laugh.
Oh, yeah. So when he was in high school still, I would forget. I didn't always forget. I just
wanted to say.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
So I knew he was in school. And look, it's not my fault that the schools allow them to have cell phones at their desk, okay? But if you're going to allow it, I'm going to use it, okay? So he'd be at school, and I would send him a funny video clip or something, knowing he was going to watch it in class, and then he was going to start cracking up laughing.
And most of the time, it would be, I finished the assignment, everyone's still working. So, like, when you finish your assignment, you can be on your phone, just be quiet, and then go ahead and just send stuff.
So I would send him stuff, video clips or whatever. And one time, I was like, I'm 43 years old. I still might as well be 8, okay?
Yeah, he's a little kid.
I'm a little kid.
I'm a little kid. My wife's a little kid.Alena's a little kid. Yeah, everybody in our family are just children.
Yeah, we're a bunch of kids. So I don't know why my work pays me, right? I don't know why. Anyway, so this is back when you were in high school. So this is probably 5 years ago or so. And so I'm still in my late 30s. I'm still a full-grown adult, right? Paying my taxes and stuff. And I decide, he's in school. I'm going to try to catch him where maybe his volume is still on and he doesn't have his earbuds plugged in. And I'm going to send him a message. So I sent him a Snapchat message so it could be like a video. And I was like, "School sucks my ass." I said it real loud, hoping he was going to accidentally play it in class. Look, I know you're probably staring at me going, this guy's not an adult. He's got a little kid head brain. So I would do stuff like that. And there was times where he would start laughing, or something would happen where the video would play through, and then he would get in trouble with the teacher and he had to go to the principal's office. But luckily, I think you were pretty cool with the principal. Yeah,
the principal was really cool because, I was there, 4 times a week. But, it was just always like, I walk in the principal's office. He's like, "Again?" I'm like, "Again." I was like,
it's my dad.
It's my dad.
Call him up. Tell him to be the punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, like, I said it one time where he was like, "Dude, I think you're lying to me. And you're just, being a punk in class." I'm like, "Dude, I promise you." And I was like, "Mr. whatever the fuck his name was. I promise you. If you call my dad up right now, he'll admit to all of it. He doesn't care. Yeah. He'll say, 'Oh yeah, I sent that to him.'"
Yeah.
Or I planned out to hopefully have his volume up so I can say school sucks ass to where And it wasn't even just ass, dude. You were just throwing curse words. So
Oh, yeah.
like, my real like restrictive teachers would be like. That's the cool thing about Wellston, Oklahoma was all the teachers were super cool.
Yeah.
There you had your some where they were pretty conservative, but most of them, they cursed themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really care. It was the principal that wasn't, on
Yeah.
board.
Well, they can't be, They can't.
No, they get this. Same with the military. They hold that higher standard
Yes.
of, I run the school. It's me.
Right.
I can't just let up on everybody.
Right.
But no, my other school back in Colorado, that's where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Shout out to Wellston High School right there. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you sitting down with me and talking a little bit and to explain to the people a little bit about what the military is like and, a little bit about our family too and what it was like. But, yeah, we'll do it again.
Sure.
We'll have more stories to share down the road and more things going on. And anytime you want to come on, man, let me know. We'll do it again. We'll chat it up.
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody out there, hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season with your families. Enjoy, make the most of it, and find those good times, man. Because that's for us. That's what it's all about. And have a happy New Year. You got to leave later today. Go back to the real world, adult life again.
Yep.
Yep. Back to work. And then let's see. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have maybe a weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll come out there, or you come back here and.
Oh yeah, you guys are always welcome.
We'll have fun. So thanks for everybody for watching and learning a little bit about my son and things that he's going through. And maybe you got to see a little bit what everyone else kind of gets to see, that we're very similar in so many ways. So, Yep. So this is my boy. I'm so proud of him. I'm very, very proud of you for doing what you do and for serving the country. And yeah, man, it's a cool thing to watch you, not only to watch you grow up when you were younger, but to see you now and making your way. And it's exciting for me because I'm like, you have so much potential, so much talent. I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's going to do next. And I wonder what he's going to do next. And it's a cool thing, man. I'm so proud of you. So you're the man.
You're the man.
I love you.
Love you.
Thanks for sitting down with me. I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys next week on Motivate with EY. And I may change a few things here and there, but I got some ideas, as I always do. And we'll see you guys again soon. So thanks for watching. Have a happy New Year. Have a safe New Year, but have lots of fun. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.